Hello YouTube, it's the Magnum94 here, back with another stupid Nintendo article. Now, since the Switch was revealed on January 12th, there have been countless articles, discussions, and videos about the hidden costs of the Nintendo Switch. And I feel like this article puts it the most blatantly, and not going to say the worst, but just the easiest to pick apart, I feel. So, this article is pretty short, so I'm just going to read it all and then give my thoughts on it. How much are you willing to pay for the Nintendo Switch? Nintendo has finally revealed their most anticipated console, the Nintendo Switch. The hybrid gaming device that can be transformed into a living room console, to a desktop console, to a handheld console in 3 simple steps. Nintendo showed how easy it is to share the gameplay experience with their friends and family by using the new Joy-Con controllers. Nintendo Switch with the Joy-Con controllers is priced at $299.99. The real question is, how much you as an average consumer are willing to pay for the Nintendo Switch. Before deciding the number, let's break down the entire cost of the Nintendo Switch. For $29.99, you're getting a pair of Joy-Con controllers and a docking station, and that's it. Well, plus the Joy-Con grip that doesn't charge, and the Switch itself, which he left off here. It's unlike the Wii and Wii U. Unlike the Wii and Wii U, the Switch doesn't come with any bundled game. Considering the average price of the Switch titles, you'll need to pay an extra $59.99 to get started. Following is the complete breakdown including the add-on accessories. $299 console, $59.99 game, $29.99 Joy-Con grip, $27.49 micro SD card if you want to go 64 gigabytes, extra Joy-Con controllers, and $69.99 Pro controller. That means to fully enjoy the Switch experience with a single game, you will require to pay total of $567.44. Hybrid or not, this is a lot of money for the underpowered gaming console. It features a 6.2-inch 720p multi-touch display panel and 32 gigs of storage. When docked, it can stream some games at 1080p resolution at 60 frames per second. According to us, $199.99 with some casual bundled game is the right price for the Nintendo Switch. What are your thoughts, and how much are you willing to pay for the Nintendo Switch? Feel free to share your thoughts down in the comment section. Okay. There. As you can tell by my tone reading some of this, it's a bit ridiculous. Let's just go over each individual aspect of the hidden costs that people are trying to say that bump up the price of the Switch. First off, the games. Now, yes, unlike the Wii and Wii U, the Switch does not come with a bundled-in game. But if I'm not mistaken, pretty much every other system, even most Nintendo systems, didn't come with a game as the basic bundle. It includes the PS4 and Xbox One at launch. And the bundles of those that did come with games costed, I think, $50 more. I know a Watch Dogs bundle that eventually came out later was $450. I'm almost positive of that. And so you're saying that $299.99, which, by the way, is among the cheapest console launch prices. Cheaper than Xbox One at launch, far cheaper than that and the PS4 at launch, cheaper than the PS4 Pro at launch, cheaper than the Wii U at launch with a deluxe bundle at least. It's the same price as the PS Vita at launch. So you're telling me that you're not going to accept the fact that the Nintendo Switch has about the same battery life, more power, has actual controllers you can use, yet you're saying that it should cost less than the PS Vita did at launch? And that didn't come with the game either. just, it seems like with Nintendo, people are so entitled. Like, they can't, for some reason, Nintendo isn't allowed to price their consoles for what they're actually worth. The majority of Japanese developers and even some Western developers, you talk about this system, are surprised it's $299.99 because they feel like it should actually be more expensive because of all the technology that is in that little tablet. I think Sakurai even said he was surprised that it was $300 because of how much power is just in the tablet, regardless of what the Joy-Cons are doing. So if the developers who are making the games for the system feel like the system is actually worth more than $300, why are the fans who are going to be buying the system upset that they're pricing it reasonably? And going back to the games, to the game aspect, yes, $60 for a game is a lot. But people want 1-2-Switch to be packed in with the system. Now, in theory, yes, it probably should at least have a deluxe bundle at $350. But I feel like packaging in 1-2-Switch would dilute the overall image of what the Nintendo Switch is going for. I feel like, at least right now, they're really trying to expand the Switch's market and audience out to more hardcore gamers, period. Like, they still want to keep the casuals there, they still want to keep the Wii and Wii U fan base, but they want to try to expand out to the handheld market and to the more hardcore gamers with games like Zelda and Bomberman. Putting in 1-2-Switch would essentially give consumers a perception of, oh, this is just another Wii. It's another motion control gimmick console, which I feel like would make actually less people want to buy it. And let's be honest, how many of you who are going to buy a Nintendo Switch are actually going to get 1-2-Switch with it? If you are, that's fine, but I personally am not going to. And I just don't really feel like, I honestly might feel like it might actually be a good thing for that game not to be bundled in, because if that game doesn't sell well, then it'll send the message to Nintendo that, okay, we should probably stop putting development effort into games like this, at least for now, because that was the main issue with the Wii U. The first year and a half was filled with mini game collections, Game & Wario, Wii Sports, Wii U Play, a couple of others, just like Mario Party, it came in 2015. Like, there were so many minigame collections that they were trying so hard to recapture the Wii audience that they just completely forgot about their original purpose of making the console, which was for the hardcore crowd. So I feel like not having that game bundled in will send the message, okay, we need to dial back at least a bit on these mini game collections and focus that development team on some other more important game, when that will bring in more people. And also, why have I seen no articles talking about how the PS4 Pro doesn't come with a game? If I'm not mistaken, I'm almost positive. I checked GameStop, Walmart, Best Buy. I didn't see a bundle with the PS4 Pro, at least at $400, that came with a game. I could be wrong. I could have just missed it. But if I am right about that, why is it okay for the PS4 Pro to not come with the game? Especially since a lot of people are going to be jumping into the PS4 family with the PS4 Pro. So they're going to be buying a PlayStation 4 Pro for $400 plus a $60 game to go along with it. Why is it okay for them to spend over the $460 and not Nintendo console, which if you just bought a console and a game, it's only about $360? So let's move on to the other things in this list. The Joy-Con charging grip. Now, at first, I was a bit upset that the basic grip that comes with the console doesn't charge. But thinking about it, the Joy-Cons both have over 20 hours of battery. The Switch has about 3 to 6 hours of battery. And just out of the box, you charge the Joy-Cons by docking them, and by slipping them onto the Switch console and then docking it. So they're charging while you're not playing it. So theoretically, at no point should your Joy-Cons last a less amount of time than your play session will. Unless you just, for some reason, don't dock or don't connect them to the Switch ever in that 20-hour period of them having battery. But I would think that if you are using this console to its fullest potential, you would at some point put those Joy-Cons onto the onto the Switch and take it somewhere. Therefore, they would be charging while you're playing. So, I'm not saying the Joy-Con grip is like, it's not unnecessary, because like if you want to buy a second pair of Joy-Cons, then a second grip would be convenient. But even then, you don't necessarily need the grip, because apparently the Joy-Cons, just holding them separately like a Wiimote and Nunchuck, feels just fine, especially with the what's it called? That the wrist strap add-on thing you can put on it, which comes with the extra Joy-Cons. So, and also, if I were to get an extra pair of Joy-Cons, I would probably just keep them on the Switch the entire time. And then once the Joy-Cons that are on the grip run out of battery, I would just switch them. And then for multiplayer, like, I would just take them off and, play ARMS or whatever. Which, again, you don't even need the motion controls to play ARMS. So, like I said, you don't need a Joy-Con grip. It would be nice, but you don't necessarily need one for the full experience, like people are saying. Let's move on. A micro SD card. Now, 32 gigs sounds like a really, really small amount for a new console. But here's the thing. People are comparing this to the 500 gig basic bundle of the PS4 and Xbox One, and now the 1 and even upwards of 2 terabyte model, which actually costs a lot more. The reason why those consoles have to have so much memory is because the games have to install onto the hard drive. So you could get a Call of Duty, but it would take like hours just to render the data onto the hard drive. And that's 40 plus gigs per game. So I'm not saying that 32 gigs is a good amount. It would have been fine if it was 64 or higher. That's what I would have wanted. But I understand why. I feel like Nintendo put that number in there specifically so that like they feel like their games are not going to take up that much space. For reference, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the biggest game I want to say ever made, at least in like surface area of the land you will be traversing. The biggest game ever is only 13 gigs. Yeah, a game that big is only like a third of what nowadays Call of Duty is. So people seem to forget that Nintendo are the masters of compression. And also keep in mind that they're able to keep all that data. And that's only if you want to download it. If you just get the cartridge, which is smaller than the 3DS cartridge, you don't have to download anything except for potential like DLC or updates later down the line. That's it. you won't need to even really use those 32 gigs unless you want to download something from the eShop. So I will say that more memory probably will be needed eventually, like like the 64 gig or even 128 or higher. But at least at launch, to play the games you're going to want to play at launch, you're not going to need more than maybe 20 gigs. I doubt Bomberman's going to be more than 5 gigs, if even. Just Dance, no. 1-2 Switch, no. That's like maybe 2 gigs. So, yeah, maybe 20 gigs at launch if you're just buying games. And like, I don't know the situation with the virtual console. That might come a bit later. But if there are games at launch on the virtual console, again, those are like half a gig each, if even. So at least to start up, you won't need more memory just yet. Later on the line, once bigger games do come, once you do start downloading things, once you take it on the go more so you feel it more convenient to just have all those games on the system itself, then yes, you will want to upgrade to more data or more memory. But at launch, you won't need that. Okay, let's move on. Extra Joy-Con controllers. Now, people just kind of seem to forget, this kind of goes along with the Pro Controller too. People just kind of seem to forget that the Joy-Cons, the Nintendo Switch is, I want to say it's the first and only console to ever come with multiplayer out of the box. It comes with 2 Joy-Cons that you can give to 2 people and they can play multiplayer games. So you don't necessarily even need another pair of Joy-Cons for a while, or even a Pro Controller, because they could very easily work like ARMS. You could say, oh, how are you going to move with ARMS with just the 2 Joy-Cons? Just unless if they don't do this is a good idea. They could have you move. Actually, yeah, I don't think, because you have the face buttons and the shoulder buttons, so yeah, you won't even need to have the 2 control sticks. I don't think. I don't think you can move the camera. Unless you can, then you can like do that with the motion. So if they work ARMS in to work with the Joy-Con on its side, then you won't really need another Joy-Con until Mario Kart or even later. And if even, because Mario Kart, again, you can play 2-player. But I guess if you want to play 4 players or more, then you would need to get an extra pair of Joy-Cons or Pro Controllers. But then again, that's $79.99 for a pair of Joy-Cons. Essentially $80 for 2 controllers. I know they're not as advanced or sophisticated as a Pro Controller, but they're still paying $80 for essentially 2 controllers that you don't even necessarily technically need. Now the Pro Controller, that's a bit different because it does have the D-pad. It is apparently one of the most comfortable controllers ever made. They definitely do you better for fighting games and probably just better for Splatoon and just it's a better playing experience overall, period. But again, you don't even necessarily need it just yet. Because people say, oh, it's the one you'll need for fighting games. Street Fighter 2 Ultra is probably not gonna be there at launch. So, yeah. What else is there left to say? So, I think I've said everything regarding the hidden costs, except for there's the idea that why have this hidden cost thing only come up now? Why was this not an issue for the PS4 or Xbox One when they were announced? People were essentially like, I saw multiple articles saying what you can do to get an Xbox One for cheaper. And that's $500. People seem to be okay with that. Now granted, that console didn't sell as well at launch than the PS4 did, but still, PS4 came out at $400 and people were okay with that. So why is the PS4 okay to be at $400, but it's not okay for the Switch to be at $300? Neither of which came with a game, and the PS4 didn't come with an extra controller, which the Switch technically does. So, and it's nothing new to have to buy extra controllers for multiplayer, which again you don't technically have to do out of the box for the Switch. So saying that it shall only be $199 at launch with a game included is ridiculous. That's cheaper than the 3DS was at launch, and that didn't come with a game. The new 3DS right now is $199, and the majority of those bundles don't come with a game. Actually, I don't think any new 3DS XL's bundles do. The regular new 3DSs do, I think. Or at least most of them. So, you're telling me that Nintendo's next-gen console and technically handheld should be priced at the same amount with a game than their last-gen handheld? That just doesn't really make sense at all. Even at $250, that's the same amount as the 3DS came out at launch, and this is a huge step up from that. This console is worth at least $50 more than the original 3DS was at launch. So, just for argument's sake, this guy's saying that $567.44 is what he needs at launch, which you're required to pay, which I already established you don't. So, me and my brother, we're gonna get the Switch. We're gonna get Legend of Zelda at launch. And that's it, because we don't need a second controller. We don't need the Joy-Con grip, because like I said, if we do end up getting Joy-Cons, we would just keep them docked all the time. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else that I would really want to get, except maybe, just for argument's sake, let's just say Pro Controller. That's $429.97. Okay? So, and that's what me and my brother are going to get. And that's even including the Pro Controller, which I don't know if I'm going to be getting. And if it wasn't a Pro Controller, then it would be another game. Let's just say what the PS4 Pro would be, with one game plus an extra controller, which for them it was like $59.99, or was it $65? For argument's sake, I'll say $60. $519.97. So why is it okay for PlayStation out of the box to make you pay over $500, but for the same basic things, a game like the console, a game, and an extra controller, it's not okay for the Switch to be less than $450? That sounds like a steal to me, especially considering how versatile this system is. So, I hope I made my point clear. If anyone in the comment section wants to talk about this with me, I'm glad to have a conversation with you. Whether you're for this or you do think the Switch is too expensive. And one more thing. I honestly believe that if those rumors hadn't come out about it being 250, basically saying like, oh, it's going to be 250. There's no other way it could be more than this. Which, by the way, I was convinced 300 was going to be the max they were going to go for, so therefore that's probably what they're going to do. So I was ready for 300. That was my mindset. But if these rumors hadn't come out of it being 250, people would not be complaining right now that it's $299. They had it in their mind, oh, it's going to be $250. What? It's $50 more than what the rumors were saying? Back again with my rant earlier in an earlier video about people taking rumors as fact, and when Nintendo announces that's not what it should be because rumors said otherwise, that's stupid. But yeah, if anyone in the comment section wants to keep talking with us about me, I would be glad to have a conversation with you. But until then, see you next time.